Hey there, Crystal Thompson here for Unity. Today I have a really fun card. We are using Wits Kit from February 2020. We are doing some stamping and watercoloring with that ink and keeping it very simple by putting it all on some pattern paper, so stay tuned. All right, let's get started. For this project, we're going to need the Let Your Soul Wander Wits Kit from February 2020. We're going to be using the amazing silhouette of the mountains, and I can't wait to show you what we're going to do with that. And then we're using The Greatest Adventure is What Lies Ahead. So it's a very encouraging card. We are also going to be using Let Your Soul Wander paper pack, and I can't believe the value of this. There's 36 pieces, 12 unique designs of this. So super, super pretty. I'm loving this. And you have some amazing patterns. So for this case, we're going to be using this wood looking one, the wood grains, and I've already have it ready cut up, ready to go on an A2 size card. Then you're going to need a piece of watercolor cardstock or white cardstock, whatever you decide to use. And then last but not least, you're going to need some inks, and we're going to be using some dark blue, a teal, a light teal, and a very light blue green. And we're going to do some watercolor, so you need to be sure that it's a water-based ink so we can get that started. So we're going to begin by stamping the darkest blue, and like I said, it could be whatever brand of ink you've got as long as it's water-based. We're going to bring ink pad to stamp, and I'm just loving this beautiful stamp that we have for the Wit Kit. So we're going to stamp that down. And we're going to bring in our water brush. And so water brush is just a brush that has the water at the end. And we're going to be using one. So we're going to add a little bit of water onto the lid. And this is why you want to use a water-based ink pad, because we're going to use the ink pad to watercolor. So we're really utilizing the same color because it's just going to coordinate. It makes it super easy. And it's not quite no-line watercoloring, but it's very similar. So you can color the entire mountain, or you can just do just the white pieces and not do what is considered the snow part. And you can always come back and add more shadows to it, but we're going to keep it very, very simple for this tutorial. Just going to add that. And I feel like if the dragging down here is what makes it look very cool, like a mountain. So we're going to pop that back up. We're going to clean our brush, and we're going to clean our stamp set. We're going to move on to the next blue in our coordination of colors here, and in this case is the Daydream, which is just a darker teal. And you can wait for it to dry. I'm not going to do that for the purposes of this video, and we're just going to do right on top, and then we're going to grab some color off our lid, so you can put some color on the lid and then grab that over. So we're just going to drag this color down, and we're kind of going to let this teal touch this the blue that we had just stamped, so it gets that look of mountains in the distance. And it's a very fun way to use your stamps and your inks and just very simple supplies. And you can even do this in the car. I think if you had a stable enough car, maybe driving down the highway, not too bumpy, you can do your watercolors. So we're going to do that. And then you'll get a really cool effect when you blend these two. So we're going to just do that. Okay. And clean off our brush, and we're going to move on to the next color. So as you're moving on to the next color up, you really want to be sure that you're stamping them a little bit closer. So I'm going to start staggering them just a little bit, and we only have 4 colors, so it's not going to be too difficult to do. You can even shift where you're placing your mountain. So this one was Fiesta Blue, which is just a lighter teal, bluish color. I don't know what you would call this, just teal, right? And we're going to focus the dry color, the color that we just grabbed off the lid, on the top, and then we'll drag it down. So you can even clean off your brush if you feel that you have too much color on this. All right, and then we're gonna color all the way. Very, very simple card making. Very simple watercoloring as well. And last but not least, we're gonna do the hot tub, which is like a minty teal green color. Let that dry. And this is gonna go at the very top of the mountains, and then we're just gonna shift it over to the right. I'm gonna hold it down. Add that color to the lid and then grab it. And again, really adding the darkest color on the top. And then we'll clean off our brush and mix those two layers together. So very real time. I thought about fast forwarding this part of it, but I feel like you really need to see how easy it is to create this card and being able to use your mountains in a different way. So that's what it looks like. Very, very artsy. So we're going to just move this to the side. Now you choose if you want to layer it or place it with foam adhesive. So I'm going to place some normal layering Tombow mono. So it's going to be just flat. We're going to kind of do a little turn on this and be sure that your cardstock is fully dried. It's going to look like a little Polaroid. And again, you can always come back and add more colors and more layers to make it really look like a watercolor. Very easy, very, very easy. So I have a strip of white cardstock or the back of the paper here. And what we're going to do, make sure that this is going to fit. I'm going to bring in my Juniper Mist, which is the darkest of the ink colors. And then we're going to stamp down the sentiment. And then on this one, we will be using some foam. So we're going to stamp that down. I'm going to let that dry. So I'm going to bring in my foam. We're going to add it to the back. And then we're going to finish embellishing our card. All right, so I have my strip. I added a little bit of foam. So we're going to remove that backing. And then because this is kind of like, you know, a little bit skewed, we're going to skew this just a little bit as well. And we're going to follow the the angle of this, and then you can just trim it, but I'm going to let it be. And then you go ahead and embellish. I really like the way this turned out. It's very artsy. You have the different layers of the mountains. Just super, super cool. You can even come in and add some black and make it a night sky, and then you have the sentiment, and you have the beautiful pattern papers. So we used all the contents of the kit. Guys, that does it for me. Be sure to click subscribe and give it a thumbs up. We'll see you guys later.